Ron here, and I'm heading for Detroit, Michigan. This is kind of an experiment. I've got my camera, some Gorilla Tape onto my console here, and I got my laptop right over there, and I guess the biggest concern I have is that my laptop stays put. So far, so good. I've never been to Detroit before, but this should be a fairly simple drive. Just take, all I'm going to do is stay on this interstate until I get to another one, and then it's just a few miles from there. It's about, oh God, I was on Central Time yesterday. Today I'm on Eastern Time, so it's somewhere around 6 a.m. May 20, I think. Okay. Anyway, I stopped at around 7. Stopped driving last night because I knew that I would have to take a 10-hour break soon, and I thought, well, why not go ahead and start that 10-hour break? That way I can get up and I can be back on the road by 5. Well, it was Central Time, so it was actually 8 o'clock Eastern Time, so I had to double check all that because I don't want any violations. Let's see. So, by getting that 10-hour break, I reset my 14-hour clock. In case you haven't seen it in my previous videos, truck drivers are bound by what we call a 10-hour rule, and then there's a 14-hour rule and a 70-hour rule. And that's the law, and if we violate them, we can be severely penalized. Heavy fines, and we can even be taken off the road. I'm sorry, not a 10-hour, it's 11-hour rule. I'm sorry, 11, 14, and 70. Now, we're only allowed to drive up to 11 hours between 10-hour breaks. Now, after I get off a 10-hour break, technically, I can drive 11 hours. That 11 hours is part of a 14-hour workday. Now, once you get the clock started, you have 14 hours during which to get all your driving done. And by the way, once you get the clock started, when that 14 hours is up, regardless of what went on during that 14 hours, you have to stop and take a 10-hour break. For example, if I were to, say, start my clock, that is, I put myself on a duty line, that is, we have to log everything. So, and I'm using Werner, we use paperless logs, so there's no cheating, and it's okay. I actually do enjoy these paperless logs. I'm getting the hang of it. But if I get up in the morning and I say I drive for an hour, I have started my 14-hour clock and my 11-hour clock simultaneously. All right? So, now if I drive for an hour and say take a 2-hour break, my 14-hour clock is still ticking, although my 11-hour clock is not ticking. You get it? Now, whichever one you run out of first, that's the one that rules. So, let's say instead of a 2-hour break, I take let's say I get up in the morning or whatever. I start my work day by doing a pre-trip inspection. It takes about 15-20 minutes. You do it every day. then let's say I drive for 5 hours. So that's 5 hours. I say, let's make it easy, 5 hours and 45 minutes. So that's 6 hours of time used up both on the 11 and the 14. Now, let's suppose I'm dropping off a load and I have to sit there in that parking lot for 4 hours. Okay, now I'm not driving, but my 14-hour clock is still ticking. So that's 6 hours plus 4 hours. That totals 10 hours, which means I have only 4 hours left on my 14-hour clock, although I have 6 hours left on my 11-hour clock. Follow me? The 14-hour clock rules at that moment. So whichever one you run out of first, that's the one, that's the law. Okay? So, now it's not all bad. Let's suppose I got a good day going and I actually do get 11 hours of driving time. And let's say I don't use any of my 14 hours, hypothetically. So I've got 11 hours that I drove. That leaves me 3 hours on my 14-hour clock. I don't have to use that 3 hours on duty. What I can do is stop, take a break, stop my clock, and then take a 10-hour break. Follow me? And once I've taken a 10-hour break, I start my clock all over again. Now that works up until I have completed about 70 hours. And it takes about 7 or 8 days to do that. Yep. Once I hit 70 hours within an 8 consecutive day period, 70 hours is the maximum. I can't do any more than that. Technically, I'm supposed to take 34 hours off. However, we have formulas. It's not really formula, but we have a way of keeping track of our daily work hours. And so, 8 days ago, depending on what today is, I might have put no driving time and no work time at all in. And it may turn out that maybe I'm only up to 63 hours. But the next day, it may turn out that because I had another day of no driving, no duty or something like that, that it turns out that I'm only up to, say, 55. So, at any rate, the bottom line is we are bound by rules that determines how long in a given day, in a given 24 hours that we can work, we can drive, we have to take breaks. Okay? There. Anyway, my Qualcomm is the name of our communication system, and it makes it easy for me. All I have to do is mash in some buttons and send for my available hours, my logs, and whatever, and it gets them to me within the next few minutes. I look and I double check everything, and once I'm good to go, I'm good to go. I don't worry about it anymore. Okay. So much for today's lesson on rules of the road for truck drivers.